Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 88, Text 17. This chapter is entitled as Lord Shiva Saved from Brikashura. Iti Adishta Tam Asura Upadhava Swa Kedara Atma Rabbena Juhano Agni Mukham Haram. Ittadishta Stamasura Upadhavat Sagatrataha Kedara Atma Krabbena Juhanagni Mukham Haram. Ittadishta Stamasura Upadhavat Sagatrataha Kedara Atma Krabbena Juhanagni Mukham Haram. Ittadishta Stamasura Upadhavat Sagatrataha Kedara Atma Krabbena Juhanagni Mukham Haram.
Ityadishtastamamsura Upadhavat Svagatrata Kedara Makravyena Juvanogni Mukham Haram.
Ityadishtastamasura Upadhavat Svagatrata Kedara Atmakravena Agni Mukham Haram.
Ityadishtastamamsura Upadhavat Svagatrata Kedara Makravyena Juvanagni Mukham Haram.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, it's difficult to read from there, right? Iti thus Adishtaha instructed Tam him Lord Shiva Asuraha the demon Upadhavat worshipped Swa his own Gatrataha from the bodily limbs Kedare at the holy place of Kedarnath Atma his own Krabbena with the flesh Juhana offering oblation Agni the fire Mukham whose mouth, Haram, Lord Shiva. Sukadeva Goswami continued, thus advised, the demon proceeded to worship Lord Shiva at Kedarnath by taking pieces of flesh from his own body and offering them an oblation into the sacred fire, which is Lord Shiva's mouth. So, we'll just read the next few verses. Very little purport. So, Devapalabdhi prapya nirved ansa matot mohani shiro prishchas tushaditan tatirtha klinnatumardhrajam तथा महाकारुणिक सौर्युतिर यथा वयं चाग्निरेवोत्थितो नालात् निगृह्य दोर्भां भुजयोर्नवारयत् तत्स्पर्शनाद् भूय उपस्कृताकृति. Brikashura became frustrated after failing to obtain a vision of the Lord. Finally, on the seventh day, after dipping his hair into the holy water of Kedarnath and leaving it wet, he took up a hatchet and prepared to cut off his head. But at that very moment, the supremely merciful Lord Shiva rose up out of the sacrificial fire, looking like the god of fire himself, and grabbed both arms of the demon to stop him from killing himself, just as we would do. By Lord Shiva's touch, Brikasura once again became whole. I'll just keep reading this in English version. Lord Shiva said to him, my friend, please stop. Ask from me whatever you want, and I will bestow that boon upon you. Alas, you have subjected your body to great torment for no reason, since I am pleased with the simple offering of water from those who approach me for shelter. Sukadeva Goswami continued, the benediction sinful Brika chose from the Lord would terrify all living beings. Brika said, may death come to whomever I touch upon the head with my hand. Upon hearing this, Lord Rudra seemed somewhat disturbed. Nonetheless, O descendant of Bharat, he vibrated Om to signify his assent, granting Brika the benediction with an ironic smile, as if giving milk to a poisonous snake. To test Lord Shambhu's benediction, the demon then tried to put his hand on the Lord's head. Thus Shiva was frightened because of what he had himself done. As the demon pursued him, Lord Shiva fled swiftly from his abode in the north, shaking with terror. He ran as far as the limits of the earth, the sky, and the corners of the universe. The great demigods could only remain silent, not knowing how to counteract the benediction. Then Lord Shiva reached the luminous realm of Vaikuntha, beyond all darkness, where the Supreme Lord Narayan is manifest. That realm is the destination of renunciates who have attained peace and given up all violence against other creatures. Going there one never returns. Purport: according to Srila Srimad Swami, Lord Shiva entered the planet of Svetadvipa, a special outpost of the spiritual world, within the confines of the material universe. There, on a beautiful white island, surrounded by the celestial ocean of milk, Lord Vishnu rests on the serpent bed of Ananta Shesha, making himself available to the demigods when they need his help. So, Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami that Lord Vishnu is the source of all opulence, whereas Lord Shiva lives in poverty. However, Lord Shiva's devotees are wealthy and opulent, and Vishnu's devotees are poor. How is it? Vishnu is the source of all opulence, but Vishnu's devotees are apparently poor. And Lord Shiva lives in poverty. He doesn't have any place to stay. He doesn't have any, he doesn't even wear any clothes. What to speak of wearing fancy dresses. He lives in a crematorium. Why is that? Why? Lord Shiva's devotees are very opulent. So in response to that, Shukadeva Goswami explained to him that is because those who want material benefit, they approach Lord Shiva. Whereas the devotees of Vishnu, they don't have any material craving. They are so satisfied being situated in devotional service to the Lord, they are not interested in anything else. It's not that the devotees of Vishnu are poor, but the devotees of Vishnu do not want anything in the material nature, because they know what's the point in trying to enjoy the material nature. Because material nature is not a place of enjoyment, but material nature is a place of misery. And in this context, he also mentioned that actually those who are in the modes of material nature, those who are affected by, those who are influenced by the mode of material nature, especially passion and ignorance, they worship the demigods, even in goodness. Three modes: those who are in the material nature, those who are affected by the modes of material nature, they worship different demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Whereas those who have transcended the material nature, they worship Vishnu. So that is the secret. And here we also have to consider another thing, that Lord Shiva has accepted voluntary poverty, because Lord Shiva also is a devotee of Vishnu. Because he is a devotee of Vishnu, he is not interested in anything material. Other demigods are interested in material objects, but Lord Shiva is not, because Vaishnavana Yatha Shampur. Among all the Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva's position is very, very special. And then he pointed out that how the demons actually want to worship Lord Shiva, or they would worship Lord Shiva, try to please him simply in order to get some benediction from him. So there was a demon called Brikasura. And this Brikasura approached Narada and asked him, please tell me who is the easiest one to please. So Narada went to get a benediction. Narada said, Lord Shiva gets very quickly pleased. So Brikasura then went to Kedarnath, the place of Lord Shiva in the Himalaya. And in order to please Lord Shiva, he started to perform some terrible sacrifice. What was it doing? It lit a fire. Sacrifice means where you offer something for the pleasure of the personality who is the object of your sacrifice. That is the purpose of sacrifice. So this demon, what he started to do, he started to cut his flesh, his body, and started to offer it in the fire, which is the mount of Lord Shiva. So this fire, Lord Shiva is accepted because it is offered to Lord Shiva. So the sacrifice is performed for the pleasure of different exalted personalities like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, different demigods, and ultimately Vishnu. So this sacrificial fire is their mount, and it's supposed to be that they accept it from whatever one offers them as sacrificial. So he started to cut his flesh and offer it to Lord Shiva. For 7 days he did that. Can you imagine? Cutting his flesh and offering it to the fire. That's a demon. For the sake of their sense gratification, they will go to any extent. They will undertake any amount of austerity and penance. So he was offering this human flesh. And for 7 days he did that, but Lord Shiva didn't appear. So he thought that he would just offer himself. So he took a bath in the holy water of Kedarnath, and with one hand he held out his hair, and with the other hand he took a chopper, took a sword, and decided to cut off his head. So when he went, so this is how they perform their sacrifice actually. In Ravan also, in order to please Lord Brahma, Ravan had 8 heads. And Ravan had 10 heads. And he was performing sacrifices in this way, performed austerities for 10,000 years. And at the end of each year, 10,000 years, after the end of each 1,000 years, he cut off one head and offered it sacrifice to please Lord Brahma. And this way for 9,000 years, he offered 9 heads. On the 10,000, after the 10,000 years, when he was about to offer the 10th head, then Brahma came to him. And here also we see Brikasura, he had one head and he is about to chop it off. And then the Lord came to him. Lord Shiva came to him. And he stopped him. He stopped him and he said, asked him, what do you want? And he said that, I want. Lord Shiva could understand that he wanted some benediction. And he told him, why are you performing such severe austerity? Such cutting your own flesh. I can be satisfied just with some water. Just some water will satisfy me. So why are you performing this? And he made one very important point there, that one must try to take shelter of me. When one honestly takes shelter of me, if he offers some water also, then I will be satisfied. The same point Krishna also made in Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam palam toyam jome bhakta prajachati. When one offers it with bhakti, devotion, then I accept it. So the important criteria is not the dimension of sacrifice or volume of sacrifice or the opulence of sacrifice or the austerity of sacrifice, the suffering of sacrifice. What really matters is surrender. Lord Shiva said, well, those who take shelter of me, even if they offer me just some water, I will accept. And that's what Lord Shiva wants. When you go to a Shiva temple, like when we live in Ujjain, there is a Mahakal temple, one of the 12 Jyotirlingas of Lord Shiva. And when you go there, what do you offer? You offer just some water to Lord Shiva. And he is happy. So, that is how one must approach an exalted personality like Lord Shiva with the mood of surrender. But demon is a demon. They don't know how to surrender. What is a demon? A demon is a person who thinks that everyone else will surrender to him. That is the difference between a devotee and a demon. Devotee surrenders himself to Krishna and his devotee. Devotee is naturally surrendered to Lord Shiva because Lord Shiva is a devotee. So, devotees are naturally surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. But the demons don't want to surrender to anyone. They simply want to control. They simply want everybody else must surrender. They are not going to surrender to him. So, and they want to trick them. Like this is the point of the story. They want to trick the person and somehow get the boon. So when Lord Shiva thus came and offered to, or prepared to offer whatever boon he wanted, what did he say? What boon he wanted? Whoever upon him I put my hand on, his head would crack immediately to 100 pieces. So Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. He is very quickly pleased and he also offers benediction very quickly. For which he often laments. As we will see that he is lamenting in this case also. So he said, okay, fine, grant him. He said, Om, granting his assent. Fine, you got this benediction. But the demon then said, okay, let me see if it works. And he wanted to put his hand on Lord Shiva's head. Lord Shiva ran out of this difficulty to run. He ran away in order to be away from this difficulty. And nobody could help him. Even demigods could help him. Because the demigods are also baffled that he granted the boon. So it's going to happen. If he put his hand on Lord Shiva's head, Lord Shiva's head will crack into pieces. Anyway, nobody could come to any. Jai Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai Shri Srimad Bhagavatam. So the demigods then, So then Lord Shiva ran and he came all the way to the end of the universe. The end of the universe, there is a milk ocean. And in the milk ocean, there is an island called Swetadeep, the white island. And in Swetadeep, Kshirodokai Vishnu is situated. So when the demigods are in difficulty, they approach Lord Vishnu, Kshirodokai Vishnu in Swetadeep. So Brahma approached him and he told him what happened. So Vishnu said, okay, I'll see what it is. So then he appeared as a little Brahmana boy. And he saw that Brikasura was running and he was completely exhausted after running such a long distance. So he asked him, hey, why are you running like this? You seem to be so tired, just relax. What happened? So he said, look, I performed such severe austerity and as a result of that austerity, Shiva came to me and I asked for a boon from him that whosoever I place my hand on, then his head would immediately crack. The Brahman, that little boy, started to laugh. He said, can anybody give such a boon? And no, he said that, and to check whether it works, I wanted to put my hand on Lord Shiva's head. And you see, he's running away. So he gave me the boon. I have to see whether it works. And there was nobody around, so he was the only one. So I wanted to put my hand on and he ran away. So the Brahmana boy, Vishnu, said that it's not true. He can't give a boon like that. And see, you put your hand, see, try it out. But at that time, what actually worked? Lord's Yoga Maya worked. Bewildering potency. And because of his bewildering potency, Brikasura lost his intelligence. And he put his hand over his head and that cracked into 100%. That's why Lord Shiva sometimes laments to Krishna that I give boon to unqualified individuals and they cause so much distress to you and you have to come and save the situation. There are so many such cases. And so in this way, Lord comes to the rescue of his devotee when a devotee makes some mistakes. So from this we can actually understand that those who are devotees of Lord Shiva, they are actually not devotees of Lord Shiva. They are some selfish individual, they simply want to fulfill their selfish ends. He approached Shiva not to please him, or he was trying to please Lord Shiva, not to really please him, but to get some benefit out, to fulfill his own whimsical desires. So that is the difference between the devotees of Brahma and Shiva and other demigods and devotees of Krishna. Devotees of Krishna, they are free from all kinds of material desires. anashaktasya bhakti parishan virakti. As one develops his attachment or bhakti to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he naturally becomes detached from all material. Now there is another consideration. If somebody even approaches Vishnu or Krishna for material benefit, that's also alright. Because eventually they become free from that desire and develop pure devotion to Krishna. Which verse justifies that point? Who remembers? Artha, Arthati, Jigyashu, and Chaturbina Bhajanti Ma, Jana Sukriti Nardi. Artha, Arthati, Jnani, Jigyasu, Jnani, So these are the four types of people. They approach Vishnu. Artha, meaning being in distress. Oh, please save me from this distressful situation. Arthati, give me money, give me money. That's also alright. Jigyashu, being inquisitive or being situated in knowledge. That is also alright. Prabhupada said that as long as you approach Krishna, that is fine. As long as you approach Krishna, even if you have material desires, those material desires will go away and pure devotional service will prevail. Whereas that won't happen in case of the demigod worship. They approach them for some material benefit, they get it, they forget the demigods, and that's it. Whereas the difference with Krishna, when one surrenders to Krishna, Krishna holds himself responsible. And Krishna rectifies. Oh, you have surrendered to me? Okay, now you are under my custody. I have to take care of you. And in this respect, there comes that point. Sukadeva Goswami pointed out that when Krishna, like why Krishna's devotees are the way they are. Because when somebody surrenders to Krishna, then Krishna takes away all his material attachment. Jasyaham anugrinhami harisheta. Upon whom I bestow my mercy, very quickly I take away all his wealth. And when he loses all his wealth, then what happens? Then all his family members and friends, everybody rejects him. He is useless. There is no need to be with him. And this is how his attachments are. He begins to see that all the people that he thought to be so important, they were not up, they didn't care for him. All they were interested about was his money. So now that his money is gone, nobody wants to even bother about it. So in this way, Krishna forces him to become detached. And then when he sees that his real friends are the devotees of Krishna, then they begin to recognize the value of the devotees association. They become attached to the devotees. They begin to spend time with the devotees. And those who are devotees, maybe some of his family members and friends also are devotees, then he recognizes who is real friend and who is a real devotee. Some devotees, some friends and some relatives also will be devotees. So they will find that they are my real friends. A friend in need is a friend indeed. So that is the test. Who is a devotee and who is not. Those who are not devotees, they will reject him. Those who are devotees, they will embrace. Oh, you're going through difficulty. Don't worry. We are with you. That is the devotee. And in this way, when he develops his attachment to the devotees and he begins to appreciate the association of devotees, then his devotion increases. So this is Krishna's arrangement. Krishna takes away Varishyat Ardhanam Sanoi for a better purpose. And then then Krishna bestows his all-good mercy. Therefore, to become a devotee should be the ultimate goal of life. Because through that, one achieves his ultimate perfection. The ultimate purpose of our existence becomes fulfilled by surrendering to Krishna. So time and time again that point has been established through the Vedic scriptures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, Gaur Premanande, Hare Devotional Service Creed.
Jai.
Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki.
Jai.
Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki.
Jai.
Shri Shri Gopal Ji Ki. Shri Ki. Gaur Premanande. Does anybody have any question? Does anybody have Swami Krishna?
By seeing this history, some devotees may think that Lord Krishna had to approach, I have material desires, and he will make my mind as by some Shakti, he will transfer my mind not to obtain that. So why we should go and worship Krishna? By seeing the history, that may be the thought and mind of certain people who would be deterred from going to Krishna. That it just changes your mentality.
Yes, good, very good point. Yeah, you see, it is not that as soon as we approach Krishna, Krishna takes everything away. Rather, when one becomes qualified, then Krishna takes it. When one reaches some maturity. Because, you see, just like the father won't give a big burden on the back of the son when the son is barely able to walk. When the son's legs become strong, then in order to make him stronger, the father puts a weight on his back. Okay, run. Right? So that he becomes strong in his legs. So that is how Krishna, as the Supreme Father, he prepares us for devotional service, for spiritual expansion. Yes?
You mentioned that those who were generally affected by the material nature tend to worship demigods, whereas devotees of Lord Vishnu have transcended the material nature. I think I remember reading in the first canto early on that they went by the three modes, and it said those who are in the mode of goodness worship Lord Vishnu. So is this still, is that just not a love of pure devotion? Do they still they worship him for some material benefit still?
Yeah, very good point. So that worship of Vishnu in the mode of goodness is the beginning point, is the starting point. But when he develops his devotion, then he will even transcend the mode of goodness and come to the pure goodness, Sutta Sattva. Whereas in mode of goodness, one can also worship demigods. Demigod worships are often in the mode of goodness. For mode of goodness means to become properly situated in the material nature and achieve liberation. In mode of goodness, one is actually aspiring. You see, mode of passion, one is trying to enjoy. Mode of goodness, one is trying to become free from material nature. And then in the Shuddha Sattva, it is Krishna's pleasure and so on. Clear? Your starting point, but you see, in mode of goodness you can worship the demigods, or you can worship Vishnu. That aspect of Vishnu also is a demigod. For some, yes, some material benefit, going to the heavenly planet, enjoy the mode of goodness. But then, if one approaches Vishnu, even though in the mode of goodness, will eventually transcend the mode of goodness also and come to the pure goodness. Because in the material nature there is no pure goodness, it's mixed goodness. There's goodness but mixed with passion and ignorance. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, Gaur Premanande, Hare